Have you ever asked yourself this question? What does an intelligent person never say? Most people try harder to appear smart than to be smart. They talk too much, sometimes without reason, sometimes just to gain approval from others. But a truly intelligent person doesn't do that, because he knows words hold power, but silence is mastery. The Stoic philosophers, Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius, taught us this lesson thousands of years ago. True strength lies in silence. They said an intelligent person is known not only by the words he speaks, but also by the words he chooses not to speak. Think about it for a moment. The ones who talk the most are often the ones who think the least. They express every emotion, share every thought, and react to every idea. But the intelligent man is different. He thinks even when he is silent. He chooses his words carefully, because he knows every word you speak either lifts you up or tears you down. In this video, I'll share with you 7 phrases that an intelligent person never says. Each of these is more than just a sentence. They are reflections of your character, your mindset, and your self-respect. By the end of this video, you will have answers to questions like, why do some people always choose to remain silent? Why does an intelligent person choose silence when everyone else is speaking? And most importantly, how can you become a deeper, more thoughtful and more respected individual? So if you want to become a more mindful, powerful, and influential person, watch this video to the very end. And if topics like this interest you, don't forget to subscribe, like, and turn on the notification bell so you'll be the first to know when new videos come out. If you're ready, let's begin. Phrase 1. It's not my fault. This phrase is familiar to many, isn't it? A problem arises and our first instinct is to deflect responsibility. It's not my fault. They put me in this situation. If so-and-so had done their part on time. And the list of excuses goes on. These phrases may bring temporary comfort, but we forget one thing. Excuses don't comfort you, they weaken you. An intelligent man doesn't think like this, because he knows taking responsibility means taking ownership of your life. Sometimes life puts you in difficult situations. People may treat you unfairly, your plans may collapse, your dreams may get shattered, and you'd be absolutely right to say, I didn't cause this. And that may be true. Maybe you didn't create the situation. But never forget, your response to that situation, that's entirely on you. That's what the Stoics taught. We cannot control events, but we can control the meaning we give to them. Marcus Aurelius wrote, if something is troubling you, the problem lies not in the event itself, but in your perception of it. And you have the power to change that perception. The intelligent man doesn't run from this power. On the contrary, he develops it. He knows that saying it's not my fault is like saying, I have no influence over my circumstances. No matter what I do, nothing will change. My life is in someone else's hands. This mindset weakens you. It makes you a victim, and being a victim is the fastest way to destroy your potential. But the intelligent person thinks differently. He says, yes, this wasn't part of my plan, but what can I learn from it? How is this shaping my character? How can I emerge from this stronger? In truth, accepting responsibility gives you incredible freedom, because now you understand the power to change is in your hands. You no longer cry over what others failed to do. You start planning your own steps. Being responsible means being honest with yourself. It's not always easy. Sometimes you won't want to admit your mistakes. Sometimes you'll refuse to see your role in the outcome. But remember this, power comes after accepting the uncomfortable truth. Excuses keep you stuck in the same place, the same cycle. Responsibility moves you. It wakes you up. It lifts you from your seat and says, get up, this is your life. Maybe those who hurt you aren't accountable, but getting out of this situation is up to you. So never forget, every time you say, it's not my fault, you're not just running from responsibility, you're running from freedom. But the intelligent man chooses freedom, strength, and ownership of his life. And if you're watching this video, it means that power already exists inside you. You just have to awaken it. The second phrase that intelligent people never say, "This is impossible." This phrase is the most dangerous lock that closes the invisible door inside your mind. The moment you say, "This is impossible," you stop thinking in that direction altogether. But remember, something a person does not think about can never become reality. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, "If a person accepts something in his mind, it is already possible." In other words, real limitations often come not from outside, but from within. When you say this is impossible, it's like building a wall on your path of growth. But the intelligent man doesn't see these walls, or even if he sees them, he looks for ways to overcome them. He knows that every difficulty is actually a hidden opportunity. He doesn't ask, "Why is this so hard?" He asks, "What is this difficulty trying to teach me?" Maybe you have had moments in your life when you thought to yourself, "This is not for me. I can't do this much. It's impossible. I will never reach that place." But then what happened? You tried, you fought, and over time, you realized that you are much stronger than you thought. Do you know what the key is here? Faith and direction. An intelligent person knows that nothing becomes easy immediately. That's why he never says, "This is impossible." Instead, he says, "It's difficult now, but it is possible. I can't do it yet, but I can learn. The road may be long, but moving forward is in my hands." Because he understands that every seemingly impossible thing can turn into reality with patience, persistence, and the right perspective. Marcus Aurelius said, "If something is in accordance with human nature for you, then you can do it." Though this sounds simple, it contains a deep truth. If someone in this world can do something, you can do it too. The only thing that separates you is your mindset. Instead of saying, "This is impossible," the intelligent man asks, "How is it possible? What do I need to change? Who can I learn from? Why do I give up so quickly?" He knows that questions open the door to answers, but saying, "This is impossible," closes and locks that door and then throws away the key. Remember, when you say, "This is impossible," you set limits on your own life. But an intelligent person breaks boundaries because he believes limitations exist only in thought. The people who have made the greatest changes in the world are the ones who turned what was once called impossible into possible. They weren't born different. They just thought differently. So next time you catch yourself saying, "This is impossible," ask yourself, "Who told me this? Is it really impossible, or am I just afraid?" Because most often, the impossible things arise when you take your fears as truth. The third phrase, "Who am I to?" This phrase is often whispered quietly because it hides the chains of self-doubt within. Who am I to achieve this much? Who am I to have big dreams? Who am I to guide others, succeed, or make a difference? Doesn't this sound familiar? It does, because many of us have thought like this. But remember, this phrase is one of the most dangerous forms of belittling yourself. Because without anyone weakening you, you consider yourself weak. The Stoic philosophers, Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Epictetus, never asked such questions, because they did not measure their worth by others' opinions or material things. They knew a person's value lies not in the outside world, but in the qualities within. But a person who says, "Who am I to?" denies this value. It's as if they say, "I am not smart enough. Who will care what I say? I am just an ordinary person. This much is not for me." But an intelligent man thinks differently. He knows that greatness is not about where you were born. It's about where you're determined to go. He knows that the path to the highest peaks in life often begins in silence, in solitude, and in moments when no one believes in you. He says, "I may look small, but I have an unshakable will inside me. I may seem ordinary, but no one but me defines my path. My past doesn't define me, because I hold the power to create my future." Every great person once asked, "Who am I to?" But they answered that question through their actions. They too had doubts. They too felt fear. But despite their fears, they took the first step. An intelligent man never belittles himself, because he knows if you don't know your own worth, the world never will. The idea that a person must be extraordinary to change the world is false, because real change begins with small, consistent, and sincere steps taken by someone who believes in themselves. So next time you hear that inner voice say, "Who am I to?" I answer it with this: I'm someone hardworking, valuable, and full of potential, and I deserve to leave a mark on this world. Because you didn't come into this world by accident. Your existence is already a reason. And the first step to turning that reason into a purpose is to stop shrinking yourself. The fourth phrase is this: no one understands me anyway. This phrase may sound quiet, but hidden within it is exhaustion, hopelessness, and the silent struggle of loneliness. The person who says, "No one understands me anyway," is actually longing for connection, but has already lost hope. This phrase becomes a justification for isolation. It's as if they're saying, "I won't explain myself anymore. I won't try to speak or prove anything, because no one truly listens." Yes, this feeling is familiar. Sometimes no one listens to you. Sometimes no one sees the storm you're carrying inside. Sometimes your thoughts are so deep that others find it too hard to understand you. But an intelligent man doesn't stop there. He doesn't turn loneliness into an excuse. He doesn't say, "If no one understands me, I won't do anything either." On the contrary, he says, "If no one understands me, maybe I need to speak more deeply or speak less and let my results do the talking." For the Stoics, being understood was not the priority, because they didn't rely on the opinions of the external world. They trusted their conscience, their inner compass. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his journal, "If you are doing what is right, it doesn't matter whether others understand you or not. Nature does its job, and so must you." The intelligent man lives by this idea. He does not crave validation from others, because he knows the most valuable people are often the least understood. If you are on your path, if you are honest, if you are working on yourself, and no one understands you, that's not your problem. It simply means you may be a little ahead of your time. The intelligent man doesn't wait to be understood. He prefers to show rather than explain, because he knows there is depth in silence. There is power in stillness. The person who acts without waiting for approval is the true leader. Saying "no one understands me anyway" is a form of surrender. But the intelligent man doesn't surrender. He stays silent, he stays patient. He keeps going, and in the end, he produces results so clear no explanation is needed. Remember, the greatest artists, philosophers, and writers were not understood in their time. But because of their quiet persistence, their discipline, and their belief, the world changed. You may not be understood today, but tomorrow you may be the example others follow. Just don't give up on your path. Another phrase that intelligent people never use is this: if it weren't for them, everything would be fine. This sentence feels like a relief. It's a kind of excuse, because when we say, "if it weren't for them, this wouldn't have happened," we shift responsibility away from ourselves. It's like saying, "See, I'm innocent. It's all their fault." But a wise man doesn't fall into this trap, because he knows looking for someone to blame may bring short-term relief, but it leads to long-term weakness. Seneca said, "If someone harms you, it's not because they have the power. It's because you gave them permission." This is a powerful idea, because it means reclaiming your responsibility. A wise person understands, no matter what others do, my reaction is my responsibility. My mood, my decisions, my future cannot depend on someone else's behavior. Saying, "if it weren't for them, everything would be fine," is like handing your power over to another person. It means, I can't be happy because they exist. I can't be successful because they didn't support me. I can't change because they made me this way. This is surrendering the captainship of your own life. But a wise man never gives away that power, because he knows whatever happens, the wheel is still in my hands. There might be storms. Someone may damage the ship, but I choose the direction. Even a person who hurt you cannot control your life. The moment you stop thinking about them, stop reacting to them, stop blaming them, you reclaim your freedom. Because true strength lies not in saying, "this is your fault," but in saying, "Look how strong I remain despite this." Sometimes, the person who hurts you becomes the test that awakens your inner strength. Sometimes, those who try to stop you actually create the silence you need to take a greater step. Sometimes the people you think ruined your life are the ones who cleanse, strengthen, and prepare you. A wise person realizes, these people are not the cause of my life. My reactions are the result of my life. That's why he never says, if it weren't for them. Instead, he says, yes, they were there, but I came out stronger. They tried to harm me, but I turned that harm into a path. They tried to stop me, but in that pause, I found my way. You may have had such people in your life too. Maybe someone betrayed you, didn't support you, didn't believe in you, but you're still here. You're still standing. You're still thinking. That means you are no longer weak. You are experienced. That's why a wise man takes ownership of his life. He doesn't look for scapegoats, because he knows if you hand over responsibility to others, you lose your ability to change. But if you take responsibility, you gain all the power. Now, the sixth phrase that many people use but intelligent people never say is, life is unfair to me. This phrase isn't spoken in a calm voice. It's the cry of a broken soul. It carries a silent question. Why me? Why do I face so many tests, so much pain, so much silence? But this is exactly where Stoic philosophy shakes you awake. It says, the world is neither for you nor against you. The world just is. Epictetus said, we are not disturbed by events, but by the meaning we give them. In other words, life is not fair or unfair, it's just full of events. And we are the ones assigning feelings, values, and meanings to them. Sometimes these meanings crush us, but other times we turn those meanings into strength. Life sometimes gives you silence. Sometimes it confronts you with injustice. Sometimes things you think you deserve go to someone else. And you say, this is unfair, but a wise man thinks differently. He knows life doesn't owe anyone fairness. The world doesn't spin to repay your tears. Luck doesn't smile on anyone forever. In fact, life often trains you through injustice. Seneca said, if a trial has been given to you, it means the strength to overcome it was also given to you. A wise person searches for that strength. He doesn't look for someone to blame. He doesn't accuse the world, the government, the family, or fate, because he knows life doesn't listen to complainers. It listens to those who take action. That's why a wise man doesn't ask, why did this happen to me? Instead, he asks, now that this has happened, what must I do? Because the person who says life is unfair is often just waiting, as if life will someday give them what they deserve. But a wise person knows justice is not given, it is earned. Change does not come from begging, it comes from deciding. Yes, complaining won't change you. Seeking justice may sometimes slow you down, but facing yourself then sets you free. And a wise man chooses that freedom because he knows, my fate lies in my reactions. No matter how much injustice I suffer, I will not measure my life by injustice. If life is harsh to me, I will become even stronger. Here is the difference of a wise person. He does not change because of the circumstances of events. On the contrary, he influences the circumstances with his stance. And remember, justice sometimes forms when you remain silent. It begins to appear as you struggle. As you do not stay silent but take steps, it turns into you. Finally, the seventh phrase that wise men never use, I'm already too late. This phrase is the whisper of those who want to change but lack courage. Often it is said quietly inside, it's already too late. What can change after this age? If it were earlier, I would have done it. But such thoughts serve only one thing, to bury your potential. Epictetus said, every day is an opportunity for a new life. The best time is now. A wise man understands this truth. He does not live by looking at the calendar. He does not dwell on his age past or lost years, because he knows being late is relative. Some get tired at 20, some start at 60. Think, Colonel Sanders founded KFC at 65. Tolstoy wrote Anna Karenina near the age of 50. Epictetus only gained his freedom and started philosophy after he grew old. So, I'm too late is not true. What matters is whether you have started or not. Every new morning is a blank page for you. Past mistakes, missed chances, lost years, they no longer exist. They are just memories. But this moment is real. This moment you can decide. This moment you can change. And this is exactly what a wise man does. Instead of thinking he is late, he asks, what can I do now? Because he knows, looking forward is life. Looking back is a lesson. Stepping back is a choice. The idea of being late is actually living according to someone else's schedule. As if someone told you, at 25 you should be here. At 30 this. At 40 it's already too late. But life is not a race. It is a personal journey. And a wise person understands this. My path is shaped in my own time. I move forward at my own pace. Remember, you did not come into this world to prove anything to anyone. You are only responsible for your own growth in this life. If there is a spark of desire inside you, it is not too late. If you are reading these words, if you are still breathing, it is not too late. The greatest delay is never to start. The greatest loss is to stay still out of fear. A wise man recognizes this fear, but he does not obey it. He knows, I may have started late, but I will be among those who keep going. And that will make me not late, but stronger. Thus, the silence of a wise man is the quiet proof of his intelligence. Not speaking these 7 phrases is not just a language. Habit, it is a life philosophy. Understanding the power of your words, choosing them carefully, and sometimes not speaking. That is where true strength lies. Remember, you prove how wise you are not by what you say, but by what you don't say. Thank you for watching this far. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. I'm curious, which of these 7 phrases are you trying hardest to remove from your life? I look forward to your comments. See you in the next video. Stay well.